Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Big Cats Super Fun. Hi. She has on a Brooklyn t-shirt. I also have on a Brooklyn t-shirt, which, well, it's the bridge, and somewhere it says, oh, at the bottom it says Brooklyn. So we're not just talking all things Brooklyn, we're talking all things New York. I don't know a lot about Brooklyn, so we can't talk about all things Brooklyn, but we're going to talk about New York City. Yeah, not the state. That's one thing. When we would travel, we would say, yeah, we're from New York. And I had to tell her, when you say we're from New York, people think Westchester. That's the accent they have in Westchester. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know where that accent came from. I did that one. Yeah, I think so. Syracuse. Why are you pronouncing it like that? What is it? Syracuse? Oh, I don't know. Okay, so you see why we can't do anything New York State. We're just gonna stick to the 5 boroughs. New York City. Which, by the way, New York City. Which, by the way, we live in Queens. We've born and raised in Queens. And every time we have to go to Manhattan, we say we're going to the city. Which we're not going to the city because we live in New York City. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So people that are from Connecticut, Albany, they're coming to the city. We're in the city. Yeah. Which is that's an odd way to think about it though. But it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay. So Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island. Yeah, Staten Island. Staten Island, which is I don't really think about Staten Island. Well, it's still fun. Staten Island, and it's a real island. It is? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know too much about Staten Island. I think we've been there a total of one time. I went once, aside from that one time that we went. So I okay, so twice. What did you go there for? I went to see a movie. In Staten Island? It was during COVID, and they were doing drive-through movies at a restaurant that I think I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but they make burgers that are called Juicy Lucy's, which if you don't know, that means there's cheese in the meat patty, so that when it cooks, it melts together. So it's kind of like a double patty. It was really good. And we saw one of my favorite movies, which is Dirty Dancing. Anyways, back to New York City. We are born and raised in Queens. We work in Manhattan. Most of our careers we worked in Manhattan. Actually, I had a Board of Education tutoring job, and that was in Queens. I worked in Brooklyn for a little bit, but I went to school in Brooklyn, so I know college. I went to college in downtown Brooklyn, which is so developed now. It's not what it was. Brooklyn Heights, totally different look, different stores, different restaurants, very different. In a good way. I mean, yeah, in a good way. I went to college in Manhattan, which really opened me up. Well, let me take that back. Which really opened up opportunities and experiences. That was not good. But anyway, I started going out to like more restaurants and places, and then if I really liked it, I would drag Kristen along, our mom along. So those were some of the good old days. In between classes, I would just walk around and discover new things. I went to Hunter College, and across the street was the Shakespeare and Company bookstore, which I heard closed, which was horrible. That's like, what was the one? Strand. Strand is open. I know, but there was a time it was supposed to be closing. Oh, well, Strand is open. And famous bookstore. Is it only in New York? I have no idea. That area is really fun though. So one of the areas that we were going to talk about is Union Square, which I think has a bit of a travel hub. Union Square, there's so many different trains there. There's the park, there's great restaurants there, a lot of live performances from just regular people doing all kinds of fun things. One of the big things that they're for as well is the Union Square Farmers Market. And the holiday, isn't there a holiday market? There is a holiday market in Union Square. I don't know about that, but the Farmers Market, which is known, a lot of restaurants in the Union Square area, they go to
the Union Square Market to get their fresh produce for the day, or they have a lot of vendors in that area. So it's always good to walk through and try. I was actually watching something this morning, and in the farmers market, it had local honey from New York, and some of it was from, it's called rooftop honey, because the beehives are on the rooftops in Union Square, the Bronx, and some other places. But I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
However, when I went to Savannah, I know we're talking New York City, but when I went to Savannah, there's a Savannah Bee Company, and they do like a honey tasting. And first of all, I had no idea all the different kinds of honey, and they have, I think, some of the best honey.
Well, you need to try New York.
Okay, yeah.
We will go on a New York honey tasting and
Do
do a
they even-
review.
Okay, we'll see about that. But, it's nice that they're at least using the space appropriately and trying to use, like, obviously we're running out. I feel like we're running out of space in terms of the land space.
So that's why you go this way.
You have to start going up, and doing stuff up there. Like the High Line.
The High Line is
The
a
High
great
Line is
one,
a great use of space.
which is in a, I don't know if it's an abandoned, but it's an old train track that.
Obviously, it's abandoned. If there's no trains there,
Well,
it's abandoned.
Doesn't abandoned mean like just left it?
No, I don't know. It's a decommissioned train line.
It used to be a train line.
Yeah.
And now it's an above ground park. There are different areas, seating areas. I've seen people sunbathing there.
Yeah.
There's a part of it that it has covering. I don't know why. I don't know like what's on top of that, but it's like covered. It looks like a bridge. I don't know. And they have little shops. They sell like little postcards and like little things. And they have some food. There's a little like food vendors and stuff. It's a really easy walk. I would suggest you do that on like a nice cool summer afternoon, spring day, fall day.
You get to see like different artwork. There's some green spaces up there.
There's
flowers.
They do some art installations there. I don't know if it's still there right now, but they put a giant, what's that thing called? A pigeon. They put a giant statue of a pigeon, which like not my choice, but you know, there's different artsy stuff along the way, so it's very good. And that actually, I think it starts at, does it start at 34? No. I think
there are different stops.
Multiple different stops and entrances and exits.
Yeah.
But from the High Line, you could walk straight to the vessel. So there's an entrance there going to the vessel. I think the vessel is probably so the vessel is a structure within Hudson Yards.
Yeah.
Hudson Yards is the property, which is composed of, I want to say like 7 different buildings. Some of them are retail space, office space.
Some of them are residential.
Yeah, some of them are residential, commercial. There is one building that is a mall, which has
it's called the shops
at Hudson Yards. There's a food court in there. There's Dean and DeLuca, Muji.
In there? In that same building?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's mostly high-end shops, but there are a few that are not. Yeah, I think
there's some really nice restaurants.
Very nice restaurants. Most of them have a great view. In the basement of the shops at Hudson Yards, there's a Spanish style food market in the basement. So it's I think it's called Little Spain or Little Mercado.
Yeah.
But it's very Spanish inspired. And then on the property, there's also the vessel, which is the structure. There was a time you could go up the structure inside with the stairs. I think it's currently closed. It opens and closes periodically due to different things that are happening. But that's probably one of the newest structures. Within Hudson Yards, there's also the Edge, which is like an edge.
It's just a glass like triangle that comes from the corner of the building, comes out from the corner of the building, which has glass.
It's a glass bottom.
So that you can see directly onto street level. I actually haven't done that yet, but I would like to.
I'm scared of heights. I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
They do like performances and stuff. I think for the
Up there?
Yes.
Oh my
Like
god.
for the VMAs, for
Oh yes, I remember.
New Year's
The
Eve.
performance.
For New Year's Eve, they do performances and stuff like that up there. So it's pretty cool.
Christmas time at Hudson Yards is so pretty. There's so many lights and decoration. It's really a nice time to go visit. A family or friends visiting from out of town, it might be a nice place to just take them.
Even in the Hudson Yards, the shops at Hudson Yards, throughout the space, there's so many areas where they set up for you to take pictures, and they have like selfie stations where you can put your phone and
Set the timer.
set the time, and it will take a picture, which is so cool.
They kind of like built that into the design.
Yeah.
I guess seasonal exhibition, so that you have a place to like. There's a dedicated place to put your camera, which that just tells you the age that we're being in. And then I know they also do a Christmas show, like an adult secret. I think it's called Secret Santa.
I think it's like a burlesque.
Burlesque,
Style.
yeah. I went to that once, but I mean, you can't mention Christmas obviously without the. I mean, the tree, yes, the big Christmas tree. But what I was gonna say is the Bryant Park Holiday Market. Plus, there's ice skating there, which is really nice. I'm not sure what else people normally do for Christmas. I guess going to FAO Shores would be a big thing if you have kids.
That's still open?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was.
I don't know. It used to be a thing back in the day.
We need to do a fact check. I'm
I'm
not 100% sure, but
I don't know what people with kids do, but
they go to the balloon thing. There's a balloon.
there's so many exhibits. But let me tell you, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
It's a tourist trap.
I went.
We used to go when we were younger. Our dad would take us every single year. Obviously, my mom was there too. So the four of us, we would go every year to see the Christmas tree. After that, we would go to Chinatown and have dinner, which wonderful idea. And we always had a great time. Trying to do that today would be difficult, to say the least.
I went 2 years ago. Someone invited us, and I was like, okay. And I did not have a good time. It was so, I don't like being around crowds of that size, tourists, people walking slow, people stopping to take pictures, and there were so many like strollers. It was like, I think at one point I was like, I had to tell someone, that's my foot.
Okay, like that things like that happen, no matter where.
And it's blocked off for like,
whether but yes, obviously it gets very hectic around the holiday time of the year. I haven't been to the Christmas tree in years. I think the last time I went was with you. I was supposed to work. I got the night off. Magically, I wanted to go out, so we went out to see the Christmas tree and like relive a childhood memory. And then I think we went for hot chocolate.
yeah,
Yeah. But I have great memories of the Christmas tree.
Yes, from
High school, the last time we went, excellent memories. But obviously going now, it would be.
It's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare, but it's difficult.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, that's what it
It's
is.
a disaster. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But the shops at Bryant Park, I don't think I've ever gone. That's one of the things that everyone like talks about. The shops at Bryant Park. I've never done that, and I've never gone ice skating. Which is
in New York. You haven't gone ice skating in New York.
I've never gone ever.
You have. We went in Florida.
Oh, yeah,
She did go.
in Florida. Florida to go ice skating. Yeah. Our cousins were visiting, and we met them there, and they wanted to go ice skating, so we went ice skating.
Yeah.
But in New York, I have not gone. Like in Bryant Park, Rockefeller Center. There's a place in Brooklyn now. I haven't gone.
I don't think you're gonna. You didn't really like it.
Not my thing. What else? I would recommend the Highline, Hudson Yards. Even there's in Columbus Circle. I don't know what that building is called, but there's a building in Columbus Circle, and it's kind of like a mall-ish. It's probably the shops at Columbus Circle.
Yeah, I think it's like that.
They have good stuff in there too.
Yeah.
Also very nicely decorated pictures. It has the lights.
Oh, and Macy's, like right now, Macy's
course.
has their flower show where they decorate it for spring. It's like a big thing. Is it? kind of, I was in the area around Christmas time. You see, they decorated so nicely as well. And I think one of the days that I had left work, they were filming certain like parts of the parade at night. And I was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. It was a pain in the neck because we couldn't, there were so many like street closures and things like that. But it was still kind of nice to see.
Yeah, I've never gone to a parade.
Oh yeah, I don't think. Oh no, that's not true. We went to the Day Pride parade by
That's, I
accident.
mean, like
A holiday.
yeah, like Thanksgiving or
or New Year's Eve. No,
No.
I'm not doing that. That is.
those are things that I don't think a lot of New Yorkers really do
No.
much. I think when you have kids, it's different because the kids want to see the balloons and the floats and things like that. Somehow I ended up in a Yankee ticker tape parade one year when I was in college. But other than that, I haven't really gone to many parades. Speaking of Columbus Circle, so there's obviously different parts of Manhattan. It's very rare that you will find me above 59th Street, Columbus Circle, only because like
There are things to do beyond 59th Street.
there's a lot of things to do. Obviously, Central Park, which spans from like Central Park picks up majority. I'm not
I wonder
sure.
what percentage of the park like constitutes Manhattan.
I don't quote me on this, but I'm sure. I think in my mind, I think by looking at the map that Central Park picks up majority of Manhattan. Central Park is huge. There's everything. There's strawberry fields. There's the boathouse.
There's a zoo.
The zoo. There's so many biking, walking, hiking, trails, so many different things to do. And then it has the different courts like tennis court, pickleball court. There's probably pickleball court now. I don't know.
We should go to pickleball.
I've never done that. I've never done that. But I would say experience Central Park. And the part that we go to at Central Park, which is not like we go often, but the part that we go to is across from the Museum of Natural History because
that's like up in the 80s.
Yeah, but it's like we're going to the Museum of Natural History and then we're just gonna go across the street to the park for a little bit.
Which means twice. Like I remember twice.
Yeah, I remember
going
twice as
like
well.
going to the museum and then going to the park.
Yeah, Museum of Natural History. You can't finish
Do it
it
all
all.
in one day.
Yeah, it's huge, and there's always so many different exhibits that's going on. So you should
Those
go.
are like the really popular ones. But remember, like Central Park isn't the only park in New York City. Like there's so many others, and obviously the boroughs have parks too. Like in Queens, Fresh Meadows, Cunningham Park,
Forest Park.
Forest Park, I heard is the biggest park in New York City.
In Queens?
No, like in all the boroughs. Which I don't know how that could be true, but
No,
you know what? It's probably true because it has a golf course, it has a carousel, it has lots of hiking
a
trails.
stadium. Is it a stadium? It's like the Forest Hills. Where they do performances.
That's connected to the park? Oh, I don't know. They're trying to shut that down.
Yeah,
Because
I heard
those
the
are
name.
not
Yeah,
having
the residents.
that.
Yeah.
But
Forest Park is a great park.
huge.
That's the park that I go to, which means like the best.
I've been there a couple times as well. Just to like walk.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to walk around.
I used to have a bike and I went bike riding there. But in New York City, there's the City Bikes, which is a great resource.
I don't know anything about the city bikes. I can't fit on one. I have never gotten on one. I'm not going to be getting on one. I don't like, they need helmets.
Yes, so you should have your own helmet or a helmet when you're getting on it. But the prices are not bad. However, what I think makes it bad is that people are riding these bikes intoxicated. And
Oh, yeah.
some of them, I've personally experienced some of these people that are riding these bikes and they're intoxicated. And it's like, I don't want to say kids, but younger, early 20s. And it's like a group of people and they're trying to do like fancy tricks on the bike, which is just from a bystander, it just looks dangerous. So that's the only downside to it, but it's a great way of transportation.
If you're sober and if you have a helmet, sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But then there's so many museums. There's the Whitney, the Guggenheim Museum. The Frick collection just opened up again. They were closed for I don't know how many years for renovation, but they're open. And then obviously there's also like the Queens Museum, the Brooklyn Museum. The Brooklyn Museum is really nice because it's very close to the library and also very close to Prospect Park.
Yes, Prospect Park. I was just there like a week or two ago, and
What were you doing there?
I did a walk.
Yes.
I did a walk there.
Prospect Park is great. They do a lot of events there, and it's massive.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
But back to the museums, I know a lot about the museums, but majority of the time there is a day or like a half a day where you can get discounted tickets or like a donation.
Like a pay what you wish.
Pay what you wish.
And there's so many articles online about which day of the week those museums are participating in that. You know what I really need to do, which I've been wanting to do since I was a kid, is go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I want
Going
to
to
do
the
that
Hall of
too.
Science,
Which is 8 weeks.
Which is
Right
yeah,
there.
it's not far from us. It's just we haven't gone. Last year, for the first time, I went to the Queens Zoo. I didn't even know Queens had a zoo. I only went because my coworker had planned on taking her son, and I tagged along. And it was honestly like really cute. They had a lot of animals. They really, really did. I said, "Oh my god, I had
The
no
Bronx
idea."
Zoo is
Massive.
Yeah.
The Bronx Zoo.
the Bronx Zoo
Yeah.
is one of them.
Mhm.
The aquarium at
Coney Island. Yeah.
Coney
I
Island.
think they redid that area.
Who?
I think it was like they recently redid it, which would be nice to go to.
Yeah.
You know, these things are not just for kids. Like if you, as an adult, have a day off and you just want to do something like it's hot and you need to be in the AC and maybe your AC is not working, that is a good day to go to a museum because you know the AC is going to be working in those places.
That's true.
Free AC.
That is true. That's a good way.
Yeah. Or even the library. There's so many things to do at the library.
Yeah, the New York Public Library. Is that the? I don't know. The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is
Massive. I
Oh
went
my
to one
God.
recently. I don't even remember the name of this one, but it was so beautiful. It was definitely a newer branch, and there was lots of different spaces that you could just relax and read, and computer station, and like obviously I know all libraries are like this, but like when you're not going to the library often, you tend to forget how
Yeah.
nice they can be because obviously everyone is quiet. And in the city where there's so much stimulation, finding a space that is quiet is like finding a needle in a haystack.
But also like the architecture of this as well. And another place that I think a lot of
Grand Central.
Yes.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that. Grand Central is a beautiful structure,
So beautiful.
and like we've seen people getting married,
Yeah.
doing their like wedding photos and stuff like that. There are tours for Grand Central. There's also tours for I think the St. Patrick's Cathedral. They go like underneath into the catacombs
Yeah.
and they do. Kristen is not about that. I want to do that, but I haven't done it yet.
No. But the tour at Grand Central is very nice. I've done that tour before.
I've never done that.
And the inside is so beautiful. And I feel like, which I used to take the subway into Grand Central all the time. And then when I used to go to Yonkers, I would take the Metro North
Mhm.
to Yonkers through Grand Central. And there's times we've gone away and we've
Yeah, speaking the Metro North.
traveled through Grand Central. And like in your day-to-day when you're traveling, you don't stop to pay attention. But when you do stop and you take time and you walk around, it's so beautiful.
Mhm.
There are restaurants there in the basement. There's a lot. It's like I don't want to say a food hall, but like a food court
Yeah.
with really good stuff. There is shopping.
Mhm.
There's things like there's little flower carts and shoe shine
Yeah.
places.
Very
Very nice. And they do events there as well. One time I saw there was something flower related. I can't remember.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I went and it was like just inside. It was like fields of flowers, and
Real
it was
ones?
so real ones,
Oh.
and it was so pretty. And you could not. They were giving out flowers, but you couldn't get one for yourself. So they'll give it to you, but you have to give it to someone else.
Oh, that is a really sweet
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
So pass it, like
Like
pass it forward.
pay it forward type
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah, that was really cute. Yeah.
Grand
Other
Central is beautiful.
yes.
I just came from Penn Station this weekend, and they redid Penn. Like
Let me tell
they
you.
did like a bunch of things in Penn Station. I was looking around and I was like, oh, there's some really nice places in here. Like I could go
There's a
there
food
for
court
a
there
day.
too.
I mean, like
There's
yeah,
there
there's
too.
different things, but
I haven't gone.
I could go there and like spend the day.
I want to go walk around.
Yeah.
I have not been to Penn Station in I don't know how long. And I went to dinner with my friend, and we were like, let's pass through. And I'm like, why are we passing through there? Because if you back in the day, that's where like all the drug addicts were.
Hey, you don't know that for sure, but people that you may not necessarily feel very comfortable.
Yeah, it was not a safe place to go into. And when I saw it, I was like,
oh no, they've totally redone that thing. Like
it's
I was
so
shocked.
nice.
I haven't
It's so
gone there in a long time. But it was really something.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm like happy to come back here.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I was like, when we're going to New Jersey, I was like, we should just take the
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, very nice. But also like when you're in New York City, there's so many ways to get
To other parts of the Northeast. Just this past weekend, I the New Jersey Transit to spend just like the day overnight in 24 hours in Jersey, and it was so nice because you just catch the train from Penn Station, and before you know, like you don't have to do anything. It's a clean, safe, it's a clean train. It's comfortable, and before you know it, in like an hour's time, you're in a different place. And
Yeah.
honestly, like even though it's just an hour's away, I felt like I was somewhere totally different. It was like such a quaint little town, really cute shops. People are so much nicer. Like, sorry, New York, but
there's the what'd you take the path? Or the
no,
New
I took
Jersey?
the New Jersey Transit.
So New Jersey Transit, there's the path, the Metro North, the LIRR.
Yeah, so many different trains.
That you
Not
can
to even
take.
mention buses. There's lots
Yeah,
of buses
there's
from
a lot of
authorities.
But you can go upstate, you can go
Out of state, you go
Out
to
of
Long Island, you can go
Mhm.
so many different.
yeah, and make a day trip out of it.
Yeah. I know, I was telling my mom, like, I love those day trips. Like, you don't even have to stay overnight. You can just go, like, early in the morning, spend the day, and come right back.
back,
And
yeah.
it's so nice to experience
Mhm.
different parts of not only New York, but just, like, the surrounding areas. We should also talk about Queens. Like, Queens is, I
Hold
think,
on, I was
the
gonna
most
say-
diverse borough.
I was gonna say something. I can't remember.
Oh, the seaport. The seaport has great summer activities.
And they redid. There's a new structure there. It's called the Tin Building, and there's kind of like a food market in there. You know, anything about food, I can tell you where to go. So there's a food market in there. That's a good place to go. And then there's also I forgot what it's called, but like on the rooftop of one of those buildings, they set up little glass. Yeah, igloos in the
glass
winter.
houses,
They
yeah.
do glass houses. In the
Yeah.
summer, it's like the lawn at Pier or whatever. So that's really cute to do. Just a seaport in general, where it has the pier and it has outdoor seating, you food. You can come sit there. That's very nice.
They do a lot of concerts there too.
Mhm.
In the summer when weather is nice.
Yeah, and you can see the boats coming in and out. It's by the water. That's really
You can
nice.
also take a tour on one of the boats as
Mhm.
well.
We've done that.
We did that because we were hosting family from out of this country. I mean, talking about food, there's night markets everywhere now in the Bronx, in Queens, the Queens Night Market,
I think
in Brooklyn.
Smorgasbord was probably one of the originals, which
Yeah.
is great. There's multiple locations now. I think there's one in Prospect Park. There's one
Oh,
at the
really?
World Trade Center. Williamsburg, Brooklyn, I think was the original.
Yeah, I think so
It's
as well.
great. However, it can get a little pricey. However, Queens Night Market,
Mhm.
what's really cool about them is that I think every vendor caps their dish at either $5 or $6.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really great. Just like going from like go with a group of people and you each get a little bit of everything and you can try different things. I had mochi donuts for the first time in the
Mhm,
Queens Night Market when we went. It was so delicious. Oh my god. Someone brought these mochi donuts to work as like a thank you. So good. Loved it.
It's great
So
to
light and
try.
airy.
It has a lot of
Diverse
international-
food.
very
Diverse food,
diverse.
which is great because if you don't want to commit to going to a restaurant and ordering like a full meal, you can just have a little snack, a little appetizer.
So that's great. We're actually planning to go in a few weeks, so maybe we'll do a video on that.
Yeah.
But that's a great way to try new things. New York, I would say, is probably the mecca of food. I think there was once an article that came out that said you can try a different restaurant every day and you will not have to repeat a restaurant for like X amount of years.
Yeah. I can't remember
Which
the
is-
statistic itself.
It's crazy that you don't have to repeat a restaurant for X amount of years.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Any type of cuisine that you want, you can find it in New York. You may have to travel a little bit, but you can find it in New York. And I think Queens is probably one of the most diverse boroughs for food.
Yeah, because Queens is massive. Like there are different parts of Queens.
It's
that
the
you
largest
can get-
borough.
You can get different types of cuisine anywhere. There's a Chinatown. There's a Astoria has a lot of different like Middle Eastern, Greek food. Jackson Heights has great Indian food.
A lot of West Indian
West
food.
Indian food. So in Brooklyn, a lot of West Indian food.
A lot of Latin, Peruvian, Mexican,
Yeah.
Ecuadorian. Like everyone knows empanada mama,
Mhm.
which started as a cart.
Really?
Yeah, it started
Oh.
as a cart, and now look at what it's become. You
Yeah,
know, and
I
like
know that.
even so, like along Jackson Heights, there's a lot of like local street vendors and stuff.
Mhm.
And honestly, some people prefer to go there
Yeah.
because it's like one, the portions are huge, and it's so cheap and affordable.
But also it's fresh. Because
fresh.
like the turnover is probably really
Yeah. Yeah, you have to know where to go. But now there's so many videos on YouTube that there's so many like food blogs
right.
that you can find it.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. And that I feel like I do go to restaurants more than one time, especially my favorite restaurants. There's like a handful of restaurants that I know is like my go-to.
You're trying and true.
Yes, and I know like if I want this pasta, I know I have to go there.
Mhm.
But other than that, we try to have
A
different every time we go. So we try to pick new restaurants because why not? You know, we can try new things.
And there's so many. Why not try all the different things
Mhm.
available?
And it might become one of your tried and true.
yeah, I mean,
There's
you're not
some-
gonna find tried and true if you don't try new things.
But also that there's some places that I've gone and I feel like I've had the entire menu because
Where?
one of my favorite Italian places is La Pecora Bianca.
You shouldn't say that. And you shouldn't say it. And so I think what really started that was where I got my wedding dress. There was a Pecora Bianca very nearby. So every time we went either to that shop or for a fitting or for trying dresses on, we would go there after, which in hindsight was a horrible idea because I would have pasta every single time. And coming closer to the wedding, I said, oh, wait, like, I don't think this dress is gonna fit. So I had to like scale it back.
We went there for the first time at the original, like the first dress.
Yeah, the first dress appointment.
But then it was so good that we just kept going back.
Their tiramisu is delicious.
Their-
My God.
all
It's
of
like
their
all
pastas-
their pastas are wonderful.
Yes.
And there are multiple locations. I knew
Yes.
that was going to be one of
Yeah.
the tried and true.
That's one of them.
Um,
The point is, New York has so many different types of cuisine.
we're gonna have to do a
Cuisine-
different episode on like restaurants.
Yes, yes. We should probably do some of our tried and true
Yeah.
and recommendations for what we would
I
suggest.
think more than ever now, I'm seeing more and more Indian restaurants coming, like being up. She's not a fan of Indian food. She won't even give it a try. Like I don't understand what the issue is here, but and just to be clear, like West Indian food and East Indian food is very different.
I like the West Indian. I'm not into
Too
the
much
East.
East Indian, but I've been to some
But there are some things
amazing
that I want to
East
try.
Indian. Like what?
I want to try dosas.
Yeah. hmm
Although I've heard people say dosha.
I guess it depends on what part of
Yeah.
India you're from. I mean, like
Yeah.
India is such a big place, but
Yeah.
more than ever, I'm seeing a lot more restaurants.
One of the other things in New York, which I've seen this throughout the world, New York is also one of those places where you can get really good cheap eats for like $5. And I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of those videos in Chinatown. There's also a lot of places that are Michelin star or Michelin recommended that
Yeah.
are a hole in the wall. Those are some of my favorite places as well
Mhm.
because high turnover, it's cheap, you know it's gonna be good. So many different options when it comes to food. When it
Okay,
comes
we gotta stop talking about food.
yes,
This is not a
I
food
know.
episode.
I know. But when it comes to museums, there's so many options.
The U.S. Open.
That's a big
That's
one.
a big one. In the summer, the U.S. Open.
The
I
Subway
had no
series.
idea how big like the U.S. Open was. Like when I went there, I wore like just like regular leggings and a like pullover and a hat, like a cap and my sneakers. Nope. I saw people in there like dressed to the nines.
Yep.
Also, just to plug this in there, I went to Sephora the other day, which why was I in that place? I get so much anxiety in there. But I saw someone using the Trader Joe's tote as their bag. As their bag. And I was like, you see? This thing is everywhere. Yeah.
One of the other big sporting events is the Subway Series,
Yeah.
which
Taking the train to
the
the
Subway Series
stadium.
to see the Mets versus the Yankees. That's one of the things that Bronx is known for as well. The Yankee Stadium and the Cloisters.
The Cloisters.
Which
I also haven't gone, unfortunately, but I'm definitely making a trip this year because so the Cloisters is connected to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and it's way uptown. But it's gorgeous. Just from the pictures that I've seen, it looks
is the
beautiful.
Cloisters indoors or outdoors?
It's outdoors.
It's
both. It's
I've been to the outdoor.
It's both indoor and outdoor. But I'm planning an excursion, a day trip where I'm starting at the Cloisters and I'm walking all the way down to the very tip of Manhattan, like lower Manhattan, like Battery Park. It's gonna take all day. But my plan is to kind of like stop in different areas and try the different foods. So it's kind of like a food tour slash walking tour. Luckily, I have someone coming with me, my cousin, who's.
I said I'm doing it too.
You said maybe.
Well, it depends on the day.
Well, I'm gonna make sure it's the day that you can come. I think that'll be super cool because I mean I can't take credit for it. Someone I work with does this with his wife every single year, and I thought it was so sweet that they do this. And I said, oh, I need to get in on this. So I need to kind of like map it out so that we can try like different things because we're gonna need rest stop, need a bathroom, you need to wash your hands, you need sustenance. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
But that's the two landmarks in the Bronx that I know of.
Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx is beautiful. Went there, really nice. So I haven't spent a lot of time in the Bronx. I went to the Bronx a handful of times, I think, but in the times that I've gone there and the times, like the places, the areas that I happen to be in, it was really really beautiful, and the park was really nice. Definitely enjoyed that.
One of the fun things that I've done a few times with the different bridges, but you can walk across the bridge. Brooklyn Bridge
The
is
Brooklyn Bridge.
probably
Bridge.
yeah, that one's probably the most popular.
Yeah.
But that's a cool experience. In Brooklyn, there are so many different areas.
Dumbo is a really cool area. They have lots of like cobblestone around there, great restaurants around there.
There's the carousel, Jane's
around
Carousel.
there. And the ice cream place. I don't remember the name of that place, but again,
Can't remember the name of the place.
but LIC, like I have a friend who we went to high school together. She's now on the West Coast, and she's been there for years. So she wasn't really around for the upcoming gentrification of LIC. She kept hearing about it, but LIC used to be an industrial neighborhood, and they've taken that and like really made it into something special because they have Domino Park there. They have so many food trucks along the park. They have a gorgeous park there. So many great restaurants. Domino Park. But it's really refreshing to see like honoring the old, but trying to put a new spin on it as well. I think that's really cool.
That's one of the newer gentrifications. Williamsburg was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Williamsburg, like Ridgewood, Queens, I think
Mhm.
is really up and coming
Mhm.
as well, like parking around there.
Yeah.
But
If you know you can't get parking, that's how you know it's there. Like for example, Astoria, you can never get parking in
Yeah.
Astoria, but that's how you know it's the place to be. But also like one of the things, which you'll know once you're in New York is like your mode of transportation is public transportation or walking.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
your metro card will
normal.
get you much further than anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to be smart about it.
Yes.
Um, like just be careful, be aware of your surroundings. You know, it can be a little bit sketchy at times, but you just have to pay attention. This coming from a person who sleeps on the subway all the time.
Same.
Like I fall asleep. I don't know. Once I sit down on the train, it is like nap time for me.
It's a rocking chair.
It's basically like I'm being like rocked to sleep.
I love it.
I sleep so well on. I mean, like she's snoring on the train, honestly. Like I don't know if I've done that, but I certain, you know, when you wake up and you see people like looking at you because your head has been like
Yes.
bobbing
'Cause I look
everywhere.
this.
Yeah. So that's definitely happened to me so many times, especially when I work night shift. Oh my God, I've woken up in like different parts of the burn switch. Let me tell you, that is never
That doesn't
fun.
happen.
That's happened to me a couple times. Oh, Rockaway Beach.
Rockaway Beach after Hurricane Sandy has become so beautiful.
Yeah.
There's so many shops along the way.
Shops and restaurants. There's a
Mhm.
hotel there now. The
Mhm.
hotel is gorgeous. Really like a place to see and be. Lots of nice restaurants. They redid the boardwalk. I mean, nobody's running in the water.
I don't think, well, probably, but I don't know.
Not
And now
us.
there's a lot of ferries that you can take.
Yes.
Like through, I think Manhattan, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, you can take a ferry.
Oh my God.
Which is really cool.
I just took a ferry for the first time from 34th Street over to Brooklyn, and it was like I loved it.
I've done
So lovely.
from 34th Street to Astoria.
Oh yeah,
Great.
what a
It's like 7 minutes, which is, I mean,
you can get anywhere in 7 minutes.
if you take the 7 train, it's big, but like, it's also so nice on the ferry. Why not?
Yeah, because you get a different view on the. I mean,
And most of the time on the ferry, they have beer,
they
wine.
have snacks and
Mhm.
drinks, and I mean, I was going to dinner, so I didn't
Yeah.
purchase anything, but it was like I walked onto the ferry and I said, "Oh, this is so nice."
Right.
But
Another
that's
mode of
New York.
transportation.
That's just New York City for you. There's so many undiscovered but beautiful things. I love how there's just, like I just said, old things that are being repurposed and rebranded in a way. So hopefully younger generations can continue to enjoy it.
There's so much to see in New York. Out, explore, take the train, take the LIRR, the PATH, the New Jersey Transit, the Metro North. Take it all and go out and explore and try new restaurants. Don't go to your tried and true. Try new restaurants, try new cuisine,
Try different museums, different parks.
and go to the free events in the park. In Bryant
yeah.
Park,
Oh my God.
Prospect Park, all the parks. Just look
Yeah.
at the parks, see what they have. Rent a bike, go bike riding in the park. Go to Governor's Island, which is also a great
God,
day
I've
trip.
never-
We should do that. There's so much to do.
We've
Go
lived
out.
there our entire life and we haven't done it all, but we need
There's
to.
so much.
Yeah, there's so
So
many
much
things
to
to do. Just go out and have fun. Be safe. We're at home.
Tell us your favorite places to visit and like the things that you like to do with your friends and family. You can leave it in the comments and like, comment, and subscribe.
Until next time.